normal application on how to test the database management system. So it is actually DBMS. Okay. So backend versus front-end testing. So if someone who has attended the QA course, they would have known how to test the front-end testing. So we'll try to compare them with the backend testing. So how to do database testing, and we'll also see what should we test in the database. So this one is, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, so now I think you're able to hear, right, all of you? Okay, so we are going to see this is the first module, database concepts. So this is completely more of theory part. So this will be like discussing on what is database application and back-end versus front-end testing, how to do data QA, testing data, and who is responsible, what is the role of QA, database tester. So all those things we are going to see as a part of this first module. So I thought I'll come back to this module after we see some introduction about technically, if you get some details. Again, if we come back to this section, we will get more understanding. So we'll be starting with this second module today, and then we'll come back with some basics on this. We'll come back to the first module so that all of you will get some solid understanding of the first module, as the first module is completely theory. So for now, you can keep it in mind, a database is a collection of tables. Okay, that should be fine for now. A database is a collection of tables, and we have so many objects inside that, like we have functions, we have stored procedures, we have triggers, and we have so many views, like that we have so many things. So we'll come back to the theory part again when we are done with the basic SQL. Okay, so today we'll see how to create a table, and what are the constraints we have. What are the constraints? Like we have primary key constraint, or we have check constraint, we have not null constraint. So we have what is a not null. So we'll see all those things today. The goal for today is you should be very clear with the creating table. Okay, so for that, let me open SQL Server. So before that, let me close this. Okay, so now if you have installed SQL Server, you will see something like this: all programs, Microsoft SQL Server 2008 R2, and SQL Server Management Studio. So I'm going to select this option, SQL Server Management Studio. When I click on this, okay, so now I need to enter user ID password, which I have given while installing. So now if I select Windows authentication, so normally there are two types of authentication for SQL Server. One is Windows authentication, and the second one is SQL Server authentication. Okay, so for those who just joined, I repeat again, I am currently running on UPS. So in case if the call gets disconnected, or if you see me offline, so we'll stop it here for today, but we'll definitely continue from the next class. So okay, now I'm selecting Windows authentication. I'm clicking on connect. Okay, so SQL Server is one of the databases which we have. So I mean, one of the tools which we have. Like we have other tools like Oracle, DB2, or we have MySQL, we have SQL Server, we have MS Access. So all these things are different database softwares which we have, and the current course which we are going to learn is primarily focusing on SQL Server. But still, in case if you want to attend interviews for any other database, or if you get a call saying like we have openings for QA, who knows Oracle, you can even apply for that. You can tell them that you have SQL Server experience, and Oracle and SQL Server are more or less same. Okay, now the syntax for all the database tools are same. You have the same way how to select the records, how to update, how to insert, how to write stored procedures. All the syntax will remain more or less same for Oracle, SQL Server, DB2, MySQL, or any other database. Okay, so for those who have issues in installing, normally every class will be of 1.5 hours, but today as I don't have power in my home, like today we might get disconnected in the middle, but normally every day the course will be for 1.5 hours. Okay. Any other thing? Okay, for those who have issues with installing, we will do one thing. Before next class, or after this class, I think if I have power, like what I'll do is, after this class we will spend around 15 minutes to troubleshoot the issue which one of the student has, so that others will understand how to install. Okay. Okay, so now for this course I'll be creating a new database. So this is how we create a new database. So these are so I just logged into SQL Server. Now I'm going to create a database. So how to create the database? So here I need to write create database, and I need to give the name of the database. Okay, from now on we'll be using a database name called dbt new batch. Okay, you have to remember this database. So dbt new batch, or dbt, so we can have like 24 May batch. Okay, so this is the database which we'll be using throughout this course. So I'm going to create this database, create database name, and I'm executing this. So when I execute this, I need to select here, I need to click on this, select whatever line you want to execute, and click on this execute button in SQL Server. So once you do that, database, so command completed successfully, that means the database has been created. So here you will see the list of databases here. So these are the databases which we already have. So we have just created this database called dbt24 May batch. So if you want to see that in the list, you just right click on this databases and refresh it. So let me do right click on this and then refresh. Now you can see that I have created a database called dbt24 May batch. So we are going to create tables, or whatever we learn we are going to create inside this database. So a database is, for now assume that a database is collection of tables, but we'll see the complete definition later. Okay, so now I'm done with creating database. The syntax is create space database name. Now if I want to create any tables in this database, all I need to do is I need to click on this, right click on this, new query, right click on this, and I can select new query, or there is other way. So before creating table, yeah, we will see all that, what is schema and all those things we will see down the line. So for today we will focus on how to create table. Now, so before creating a table, ensure that your respective database is selected here. So before going to create table, see, as of now master database is selected. So we are working on dbt24 May batch database. So for sure, without you have to select that here. Otherwise what happens is, when you create table or something, that will be created in this database, and you will be searching here, I have created table but I'm not seeing here. A lot of students ask me, like, I have created a table but I'm not seeing in the tables list when I expand my database. So for example, let me create a simple table, create table employee, and then I need to write here emp id integer, and emp name I'm giving as varchar 20. So varchar is the data type when we want to where the characters can vary between 1 to 20 up to 20 characters. So integer is for a number. So now I just wanted to create this table. So when I create this, now it is created successfully. So students will ask me, I have created this and even I have refreshed this table, refreshed this database, but when I expand this table, I'm not seeing the table here inside this table. So because what is the database they have created now? In which database they created now? This table is created in which database? Yeah, the table is created in master database because the currently master is selected. So what we need to do now? So we need to select here the database testing 24th batch and then run this command again. Before doing that, let's drop this table in master. Otherwise, we don't need to touch master database. So let's delete the table. Let's drop the table. Drop table employee. Why we are dropping this? Because by mistake we created this in master database. So all you need to do is select this line. For sure, select this line and click on this execute button. So now this table has been dropped from master database. Now let's try to select the DB2 DBT 24th batch May. Now create this table again. This is how we need to create. So now when I execute this, and now when I refresh it, right click on this, refresh it, and expand this tables, you can see that employee table is here. Okay, so this is how you need to create, you need to ensure that you create the tables in the correct window, in the correct database. Okay, and one more very important thing, before executing this drop or something, you need to be very careful before executing drop or delete statements, because when you do that, you will land up in other company. You have to go to other company because you have to be very careful. What I mean is you will be removed, so we should be very careful. DBO stands for database object. So here we are seeing DBO, that is the schema. So good question. So here we are seeing DBO. DBO stands for database object, that is the default schema for SQL Server. So we'll see that what is a schema and all, we'll see that later, but DBO stands for database object. Okay, now okay, good news, I got power. So I mean I got power in my home, so we'll continue for 1.5 hours. Okay, so now let's see how to. Okay, so this is, I got a question saying like what are objects, and also one more question, can you repeat drop again? How did it took table in the database created? Okay, now I repeat the concept. So now if I want to create first thing, I want to create a database. So please focus on the class. So first thing, I want to create a database for the course. So what I did, I created a database. So this is how we create database. Create database. Database name is I gave some name as DBT 24th May. So once I execute this test1, so I'm giving this database name as test1. When I execute this, it will create a database. For now we have 1 2 3 4 5 databases. I just created test1 database. So to verify that I need to refresh here. Right click on this, refresh. So I can see that test1 database has been created. Now if I want to create any table in test1 database, so I need to select that test1 here. I need to select that database here, and then I need to do a create table statement. So this is how you create a table. Create table employee, and then you need to give the columns for the table. So first column is employee ID integer, and I'm giving employee name varchar 20. Now when I execute this, this table will be created inside this test1 database. So let me select this and then execute this. Before executing, ensure that the correct database has been selected, otherwise it will create in some other database which is not intentional. So now let me select all this 4 lines and execute this. Now the table has been created in test1. You just need to expand this. So before that, refresh it. Right click on this, refresh it. Now expand this and expand the tables, and you can see that the table has been created here. Now if you want to delete the table, if you don't want this table anymore, all you need to do is drop table drop table, you need to do give the table name employee. Okay, so drop table followed by table name will remove the table, will remove the complete table. So if I execute this, and if I execute this, and if I refresh this test1 database, refresh this, and I'll not see the table anymore because the table has been dropped. Okay, drop table will remove the table, create table will create a table. So now which is the database which we initially thought of started working from for this course? What is the database name which we thought we'll be using for this course? Yeah, so we are going to use May 24th batch. So now what I'll do now, I don't want this test1 database, so we'll see all the commands, all the DDL commands we will see we'll see down the line. For today we'll focus on creating a table and the constraints. So I got a question saying can you show truncate table? Yes, we will see all the commands as a part of this course. This course is 50% when do we use? Okay, so we'll cover 50 I mean this course is primarily 50% development and 50% testing. So once you're done with the course, if you think you want to move to developer, as a developer you can even do that, or as a tester you can even do that. So this course will give you the flexibility to be SQL Server developer or SQL Server tester. Okay, now okay, let's focus on creating table again. So which database I want to drop now? I don't, yeah, okay, so which table I want to drop now, I mean which database I want to drop now. I created just for explanation again, I don't want the database. Which is the database I should drop it now? Yeah, so I created test1 database, let me drop the database. So even for dropping the database it is same thing, drop database and give the database name test1. Okay, and then execute it. Okay, so why I cannot drop this? Can anyone guess why I cannot drop this database? You can see the error, here, like cannot drop database test1 because it is currently in use. So I cannot drop it by selecting that test1. Okay, so it will not allow me to drop it because I am already in that database and I cannot drop it. So what I need to do, I need to select some other database. Let me select master or any other database. Now let me try to drop this database. See, now the database test1 is dropped, but still I'm seeing here. So I just need to refresh it. So right click on this databases, just refresh it. So now I don't see test1 database here. Okay, now again I got a question saying what is the difference between drop and delete command. We are going to see that again in the course. So definitely by the end of 3 classes you will be very clear with all the commands, DDL commands, DML commands and DCL commands. Okay, so now, so just to summarize till now, we saw how to create a database, create database name, and we saw how to create a table inside that database, and also we saw how to drop a table or how to drop a database. Okay, so now let's focus more on creating a table. So let's select our database, which is DB2, and let's expand tables. So now how to drop this table? All of you ping me the command how to drop this table. I don't want this table now. What is the syntax? What is the command to drop it? So it's very simple, drop table, table name, drop table, table name. So now what I need to do now, I need to select the database first. So I need to select DBT 24th May batch, and now I need to do a drop table employee. Okay, so now execute this. Okay, DBO is optional, DBO.employee, DBO is optional. So the default schema is DBO, but if you have any other schema you might need to give there. So now I'll execute this. That's it. Now if I refresh it, let me refresh it, I don't see tables here. Okay, now let's try to understand more about creating tables and what are the constraints we have and all those things. Okay, so now let me open a PDF which I have very good material for this. I'll be sharing with all of you. So now let me open this. Okay, so now I'll be creating a table with these columns, employee table with these columns, employee ID, first name, last name, department, salary, and date of birth. Okay, so before that, let's try to explain some of the data types which we use. Okay, so now let's try to understand what is a primary key. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so let's try to understand what is the use of primary key and what is exactly a primary key. Okay, before that, employee table, the table name is employee. So can you guys tell me what could be the possible attributes for an employee? So first thing is employee ID, and EMP first name. Let me put F name. And then what else we can have? We can have L name. Sometimes we might need to have middle initial or surname as well. Okay, that is fine. Okay, I'll give middle initial. So first name, last name, or let me put this name, middle name, or okay, middle name. Okay, so whatever, and then very important thing, salary. Otherwise people don't work, right? Salary. And employee ID, first name, last name, middle name, salary, and address we will have. Other than address, we can actually think of date of birth and hiring date. Yeah, hire date, join date. Last one. Anything else which you think of for employee? Employee ID, first name, last name, middle name, salary, date of birth, manager name, department ID. Yeah, department ID. Okay, very good. Okay, so now let's assume that we have these many things. So now assume that I have some 5 employees here. Assume that I have 5 employees in this table. Can you tell me the column which differentiates? Okay, one more thing, very important thing is that every employee in a company will have how do they communicate with each other? We missed that attribute. How do they communicate with each other? All the employees will have, they communicate with email. So let's put this email ID, or let me put after this first name and last name. Okay, so let me put here email ID. Okay, now questions. So imagine I have some 5 records. So which column do you think will be different for all the rows? For sure that should be different. So how do you identify, how do you differentiate each employee? Yeah, so we differentiate employees using employee ID. So no 2 employees will have the same employee ID. For sure no 2 employees will have the same employee ID. All the employees will have different employee ID. Okay, now assume that I don't have this employee ID column. Which column do you think will play the role of employee ID? Which column do you think will be different for all the employees? No, I don't think date of birth will play the role, because 2 employees can have the same date of birth. Do you agree with me, all of you? Date of birth cannot play the role of primary key, because date of birth can be same for 2 employees. Yeah. So I see response saying email ID. Perfectly right. Email ID will be unique for all the employees. So email ID can also be a primary key. Okay, so let me drop off this column as well. Now can you tell me which is the column that can play the role of primary key, which is unique for each employee? Which can be unique for each employee? No, last name cannot be unique. Some of you saying last name cannot be unique, because some of the employees, for example, if you think department ID cannot be unique, because salary also cannot be unique, because 2 employees can have the same salary. Join date also cannot be unique. Join date, because join date can be same for 2 employees. So using join date we cannot differentiate. Yeah, I was expecting something like what Sujata has said. You can have a composite primary key. Employee ID can be there, but we don't have employee ID as of now. In this columns, I'm asking question for those who just joined. In these columns, which can play the role of unique identifier for a particular employee? First name cannot play unique role because two employees can have the same first name. Yeah, right. So none of these are unique by themselves because all of them can repeat for employees. Two employees can have first name, two employees can have same last name, or two employees can have more than two employees can have same middle name. Salary obviously can be same. Date of birth very rarely, but yeah, two or more employees can have same date of birth. Join date, yeah, obviously people will have same joining date. And department ID, completely employees will can belong to the same department. So in this case, if you have a scenario for sure where you have to put a join condition, I mean you have to tell unique key, you can join more than one column. You can combine more than one column for a primary key. So do you think combination of first name, last name and middle name can form primary key? Can be unique for all the employees? How many of you agree with me that a combination of first name, last name and middle name will be unique for all the employees? Oh, nobody is agreeing, is it? Oh, there are chances like the combination also can be same. For example, Ravi Verma and middle name, say for example Abhay Ravi Verma. Okay. So do you think that another employee can have the same first name, last name and middle name? Okay. Okay, I thought you will say we will not have the combination, I thought. Anyway, so in that case, what is the solution? So for that reason we need to have maybe we might need to date of birth, or we might need to do some magic, but still there might be I don't think these columns will be suffice for differentiating the columns. So we need to have the previous columns which we have. So what are the columns we have? Email ID and employee ID. So employee ID will be for sure which is unique for all the employees. So employee ID will play the role of primary key. So I repeat now, the purpose of primary key is to act as the differentiator between each employee. Okay, remember a primary key, no two rows of a primary key will be duplicate. For example, if you have employee ID 1, okay, yeah, I'll explain about the composite key later. So composite key is the combination of more than one column which can act like a primary key. So in some companies where for example I'll give one example where we can use composite key as so I thought you will be telling like first name, last name and middle name. I thought you all will tell no two employees will have same I thought you will say okay for first name, last name and middle name combination. No two employees will have, but still some of you are telling like there might be chances like we can have the same first name, last name and middle name combination for multiple employees. Okay, at least I guess okay, it can be there. Yeah, I'm not denying the fact. Okay, these three combination also can vary. Okay, so I'll tell about composite key later. So for now primary key is something like which is used for differentiating that particular employee from other employees, and a primary key should be different for all the rows. I mean duplicate values are not allowed for a primary key, and the third point is a primary key cannot be null value. A primary key cannot be null value. It should have some value. Okay, and it should be unique. I mean it will not allow duplicate values. It should be unique for each row. So that is called a primary key. Okay, and remember a table can have only one primary key. Okay, I repeat the points about primary key, and one of you should explain this. Okay, a primary key is used to differentiate the records, differentiate a record from other records, and a primary key cannot have duplicate values. Second point is a primary key cannot have duplicate values. Third point, a primary key cannot be null. A primary key cannot have null values. It should have value. Null is something like no values is called null. Okay, and the last point, a table can have only one primary key. Okay, So okay, a table must have only one primary key. It cannot have more than one primary keys. Okay, now now let's try to understand. Some of you are asking cluster index. Okay, I'll tell what is cluster index later. Yeah. Okay, so now who wants to explain the 4 points which I have discussed? I'll make you as I'll unmute you. So who wants to take this up? You can ping me. I just need the 4 points. Who wants to explain? Okay, okay, so Kavita wants to try. I'll unmute Kavita. So yeah, you can explain the 4 points for all of us. We are not able to hear you. Others, are you able to hear? Or is it a problem with my microphone, with my speakers? Yeah, I think now we,
Hello?
now we are able to hear. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, the primary key we can use to differentiate from one record to another record,
Okay,
and a table must have only one primary key,
okay,
and primary key cannot be a null value.
okay,
It can, null value is like, it could be zero, but it could not be null value,
okay,
and it should be unique, cannot be repeated.
perfect. Okay,
That is an
perfect. Yeah, very good. So thank you, Kavita. Thank you very much. Okay, so it's clear now for me. The 4 points have been clarified. And one more question which I got now is, um, is it possible that the table does not have a primary key? Yes, primary key is not mandatory. So sometime back I created a table. So sometime back here I created a table employee which is not having primary key. So it is not necessary for a table to have a primary key. Okay, but still if we have it, that's well and good. That's how we can differentiate from other records. Okay, so yeah, any other questions? So I'm seeing some more questions. It can be 0 also, right? That depends. If you add 0 once, it will agree, because it should not be duplicate, but it can be 0. But real time employee ID cannot be 0. In reality, employee ID cannot be 0. For that, we need to find ways how to restrict it not to be 0. Okay, so now let me show the code how to create a primary table. Okay, so let's go back to the material which I have. Okay, so here is the table, creating table. So now I have a table employee. I'm creating a table employee with employee ID with identity column. I'll tell what is an identity column. So I have first name varchar 20. That means the name can vary from, first name can vary from 1 character to 20 characters. That is the reason why I have used varchar. And if the characters are fixed characters, I'll be using char data type, char 20. Varchar is for varying names. Why I used varchar here is, some employees might have 5 characters first name, some employees can have 10 characters, some employees can have even 15 characters first name. So for that reason I have selected varchar data type. And not null indicates that if you try to insert null value for this first name, it will not allow you. Okay, first name cannot be null. You can have gaps. So you can have gaps in varchar 20. Okay, so we'll see that now. Null indicates that it can be null. So last name I have mentioned null, that means it can allow nulls. Okay, department varchar 15, it can allow nulls. And salary int, this is called a check constraint. Okay, so I'll explain what is an identity column in some time. So a check constraint will ensure that you cannot insert a negative value now. So when you are inserting a record, so let's try to see how to insert records into database. Okay, now let me open SQL Server, and now we will try to create table now. So I'll be using this this code. I'll select all this and right click on this. Or before that, I want to explain you identity column. So let me not use this now. Let me create a table now. So create table employee. I'm going to create my own table now. I'm giving here employee ID integer, and then I'll tell you what is the importance of primary key now. So employee ID integer and employee name varchar 20. So now I have given this. So the use of this comma, someone is asking what is use of this comma. Comma is to differentiate the columns. So since we have only two columns, I just gave comma here, and the last column doesn't require a comma. So for the last column you don't need a comma because that is the last column. Okay, so now this is how you create a table. I'm just creating this. Now let's try to add the records for it. So how to add the records? We need to add using insert command. So insert into employee, and then I need to give the column names. What are the column names? Employee ID comma, what is the second column name? Employee name. Values, I need to give the respective values here. I need to give the respective values. So employee ID 1, I need to give the name as Meghnad. So this is the first employee. Now I have created a table employee ID and employee name. So now I'm going to insert the first record into this table. So all I need to do is select this and then execute. Click on execute. Now one record has been inserted. So let's try to insert another record, saying for example 2 and then Ravi. Now let me execute this. Now if I want to execute this, if I want to see the data, select star from employee, home F5. So I can see all the records in the table. So if I want to see the records in the table, I need to execute select star from employee. Okay, star indicates all the columns. If you want to see all the columns from the table, you need to put select star from employee. Okay, and if you want to see only particular column, so you need to give the column name here. So you need to give employee name here, employee name, select employee name for. So if I execute this, I'll see only employee names. If I give star here, I can see all the employee names. Select star from employee, you will see all the columns. Okay, now I have not used any primary key or anything. I have not used. So if I try to insert employee ID 1 again, let me try to insert employee ID 1 with name Bharat. So the disadvantage of not having primary keys, see now I am trying to insert employee ID, employee name 1 and Bharat, but if you see in the table, I already have employee ID 1 for Meghnad. So now I am trying to insert 1 for Bharat. So if I execute this, it will not throw any error. It has inserted, but I don't want this to happen, because if I try to see select star from employee, I can see two employee IDs, two employees with same employee ID. So I don't want this to happen. So for that reason, what I can do is I can make this employee ID as a primary key. A primary key will not allow duplicate values. Okay. So now what I need to do now, I need to make this as primary key. How to make this as primary key? Just give space and primary key. Okay, so now I have a question, how to drop this table. I already have employee table created, so I'm going to create a table again with primary key. So I can do that using alter statement, but still let me drop the table. So drop table employee. Now let me execute this. Now what I need to do, I have added employee ID integer primary key. So let me execute this. Now let's try to insert duplicate values. Okay, let's come from the beginning. I will insert Meghnad. Now I'll copy this. I'll paste it again. Now I'll put here 2. I'll put here Ravi. I'll put 1 here, and I'll try to put again here Bharat. Okay. Now I have this primary key in place, so let's try to see what happens now when I try to execute. So let me
H2K Infosys provides world-class online IT training, staffing, and software testing solutions to customers worldwide. H2K Infosys, how we are different from our competitors. 100% job-oriented training, hands-on project work, cloud test lab, resume preparation and review, mock interviews, robust syllabus, one-time fee and lifetime access to classes, access to recorded sessions of live classes. H2K Infosys has won the trust of thousands of students worldwide. For a free demo class, Visit us at h2kinfosys.com.